to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, a.k.a. Tony. Here with some of my nearest and dearest and co-hosts in the building. Got my dog, DJ Doey Fresh.
You gang.
Got the bald one, the great one, Pucho.
I'm impressed that he wasn't muted. So shout out to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, back from the freaking abyss, the Texas one without a gun, Mateo.
The Obis.
Yeah, I love the Obis.
The Obis.
Back from the Obis.
I liked when y'all were wearing matching hats up there.
Yeah, I don't know why he changed it. I'm mad that he noticed it. Mad that he noticed that.
Pucho and I normally, we try to color coordinate, but it turns out we don't own any of the same shirts.
Mateo's ridiculous, bro.
He has to go out in the rain and look in some puddles.
Find shirts and puddles.
So, Mateo, what's been good, man? We missed you here in the pod.
Man, I drove all across the Midwest of this country. I did 2,800 miles. And I will tell you, there's not a lot out there. The middle of the country is boring. That's not fair. Like Missouri, gorgeous. So gorgeous. Like driving through like these mountain roads, you can just oversee like just nothing but green cliffs. Awesome. So cool. But there was a lot of just flat corn fields and just flat land out there. Not a lot going on. Made some good time though, man. I made it up from Austin to Kenosha, Wisconsin, 15 hours. Google told me it was going to take 18 hours.
Dang,
Shaved 3 hours off.
Yeah, you made great time.
I'm afraid of that whole area of the country. I feel like you're going to drive into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, you're going to find like this little, piece of shit looking area with just a gas station. A little clerk. He's got a store. You're like, how are you in business? Ain't nobody coming through here.
They're
gonna kill you.
There were some sketchy gas stations there. I didn't run into any gas stations that were like cash only or anything weird like that, but there's some sketchy gas stations. I stayed at I stopped at this one gas station in like Southern Illinois where I was, it was like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It was late, right? And I was there, like I just filled up and I was sitting in my car, like, booping on my phone, getting my map back in order, all that stuff. And there's 5 other slots open at this gas station. Every other gas pump is open. And this dude pulls up behind me and he honks at me. And I looked back at him and I went, I just gave him a shrug and I pointed around to all the other gas pumps and he honked at me again. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I could get out and I could start this could be a whole thing. This could be a whole argument in a gas station, or I can just pull off. Why am I going to get stabbed in a gas station in Southern Illinois? It's not worth it.
Imagine he's like, that's my gas pump. Nobody goes through there ever, so he's so used to using that gas pump.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was a wild gas station though. They gave me a key to use the bathroom, right? They had one of those like outdoor bathrooms that has like the little key. You know what that key was sitting on? That key was attached to a little mini baseball bat.
Whoa.
Okay.
It was like a little mini baseball bat with a key at the bottom. And I thought about it. I was like, that is not a good sign. This is not a good gas station I'm at. I should leave this one as soon as possible.
It's to beat off the bear that comes and tries to fucking... The coyotes. Yeah, we got some coyotes back there. Just smack them with those.
Do you say coyotes?
Coyote.
Me? I'll say coyotes
Doey
sometimes.
just said coyotes, but I'm like, are you saying this in seriousness or in jest?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, you just said coyote 2 times.
I don't know.
That's
I
how
thought
he
when you
says it.
I thought when you see them, they're called coyotes, and like I don't know, there was like plural. I don't know.
No,
I like coyotes. It's very country. It's very Western.
It's so good. Yeah, I've never heard of coyotes just randomly, and I'm like, I swear to God, whoever's saying this right now, they're clearly trolling me. Like, it's a fucking coyote. Like, what's the Wile E. Coyote? And nobody ever said that before. Like, so I'm like, where did this start? I think it just feels like this got invented in 2022, and I've just started hearing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I've never heard of that either. Crazy.
So check this out. I stopped at New Orleans on the way back. Right, I was there for 2 nights with my niece. Worst possible city to take her to. My niece is 16, so we couldn't go. Obviously we're not going to bars. We tried to look up like ghost tours. All the ghost tours go through bars, so those were out of the question. My niece doesn't like fried chicken or seafood, so that's like every restaurant in New Orleans.
It was like McDonald's.
It was an interesting trip. We had a lot of fun finding things for her to do.
I would bet that the McDonald's in that area sells fried chicken, dude. You'd be surprised. Some of the fast food joints in little areas, little pockets areas, they just serve different stuff.
How is it
like
over
I've
there?
seen people put up videos of like, I can't recall the restaurant, but it'll be like they pull up to a Taco Bell and they'll buy like fried chicken at the Taco Bell. And you're like, what? But it's like, yeah, that's just how we do out here in whatever, whatever country ass state they were in.
How was
Has
it in
anybody-
Tokyo for you, Pooch? Did you see a McDonald's over there, or Japan when you went to Japan?
Yeah. I actually went to McDonald's. I didn't like it too much, but I mean, it's
Really?
fucking McDonald's. But it was like, it was just one day we didn't really have an opportunity to like get food for whatever reason. We ended up getting food at McDonald's, and they did have a bunch of items on the menu that I've never seen before, different like flavors and things like that. It was McDonald's. It wasn't that impressive.
Yeah, but
Have any of you eaten a McRib?
Yes, 100%. I love the McRib. I'm all on board on the McRib train.
What about
Yo,
you?
one time my
it's
cousin Everett
fake
sent me a
meat.
video, and he was like, "Yo, watch this video. It's this guy eats 2 McRibs." He said, "Yeah, I saw this video and I threw up." That's the only thing I know about the McRib, and that it's seasonal.
It's like fake. Like it's like processed meat that's pressed into a shape and put between buns.
the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's not even a rib.
No,
It's
it
just
is
like,
definitely not.
and it's got like the little ridges. It reminds me of the Salisbury steak we used to eat in elementary school.
I could see that. It
Like-
gives me. It's like that plus like a sloppy Joe mixed together or something. They're
like
very
wet.
messy.
They're wet. It's like, ugh.
Mystery
I
meat.
remember-
That's all it is.
I've gotten especially from school, the Salisbury steak has given me indigestion for like several days.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit was just like no good.
Let
I
me
would-
just say, I like the Salisbury steak there.
Same.
Back in the day, I used to like it.
It's like
in
a wet
retrospect, it's
hamburger.
disgusting. I can't believe
It's
I
like
used
a
to eat that
wet
shit.
hamburger.
My favorite thing with school lunches was the the roll, plus those mashed potatoes, dude. I'm sure those mashed potatoes were like the fake kind. They were like the flakes that you just add water to or whatever.
I don't know.
They
Middle
hit
school,
though. They hit so good.
the taco snacks and the Mexican pizza was the bussing. Them shits bust
You had,
every
to,
time.
you had to buy the taco snacks. The
That's
Mexican
cool.
pizza
I
they
used
made,
to
right?
steal them shits. You little crack the window, tap, tap, tap. Walk out that bed. That's it. You Gucci.
What is a taco snack?
It's
Just a
literally
burrito,
A
a
burrito.
microwavable burrito.
with cheese and meat. And
they're
in the
so
back.
good. They are so good.
They would have
Actually,
you shitting though.
I looked up the company because I was like, I
wanted to buy
missed the
some.
taco snacks I used to eat in high school. I used to eat a taco snack almost every day in high school with ketchup. As disgusting as it sounds, taco snack with ketchup is delicious. It's crazy. And I went and I found the company, but I had to buy a box of like 300 taco snacks just because it's like.
Oh my
and
God.
I debated it. I was like, I could freeze it. Like,
It was debating.
That's a lot of taco snacks.
It's that he knew he was gonna eat them though. Over time, he would eat those. Like
if I was in college, I would have bought it because like me and my old roommate, like one time we
Fire.
bought like 500 like Nathan hot dogs, like this massive fucking pack, and it just like it was one of the best purchases we ever bought. We bought that. We bought like a lifetime supply of tuna fish, and like I'm talking about like a seismic jar of pickles. And then we would just we'd like make relish for our hot dogs, or we'd like chop up, we'd put relish in our tuna fish sandwiches.
Fire.
And those two things got me through a lot of meals when I was broke in college. Hot dogs and tuna sandwiches.
Fucking
I
this
remember,
I'm
New
so
York-
on board. I love both those things, dude.
I'm not a big fan of tuna, but
They used to serve us beef patties at school in New York, and that was my favorite. I remember that.
Damn, beef patties. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were fat too, like real fat.
I didn't appreciate the beef patty back then.
I've always loved.
So I
beef
kind of
patties.
regret it because I think I would have been a beef patty dude. But also, I'm kind of glad because what elementary school beef patty can't be that good.
It was
I
decent.
don't know, bro. that damn chicken sandwich in high school, A1. The
Middle
Papa
school
John's
chicken
pizza
sandwich.
with the additive ketchup on top, A1.
Papa John's pizza.
With ketchup on top.
A1. You
They
didn't have
already
Papa
got
John's
that.
pizza?
They already got that medicine ass tasting, like the tomato sauce to add. It's funny.
Nah, that Papa John's pizza was good. I think banging. Yo, have you
Shit's
guys
making me
seen the
hungry.
Apple Vision Pro?
Yes, I think it's a cool concept. I think it's way too expensive, and I don't know who in the hell is going to want to wear these like ski goggles on their face.
Apparently, you can see through them. Like you can obviously see through it, but I don't know. I mean, the price is too much. But if it
They
was,
said they're not designed. They said they're not designed to fit comfortably around glasses either. So you either have to get some special lens inserts or wear contacts, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. But 3,500 is a little too much for me. But if it was cheaper, I might buy them myself. I mean,
The concept's cool. I love the concept of like augmented reality. I think that the ability to do that is very cool. We just haven't seen any cool actual implementations of it so far.
and it looks
I mean,
cool though.
what they showed was incredible. Like the idea that I could be like, oh, I want to watch this movie. And I could just sit there and then I could be sitting on the moon, right? And make the movie just so massive in front of me that it just takes up my whole vision. Like that just seems incredible to me. I don't know. This is like, I had always said like, oh, I'm looking forward to in VR when I could be like, you know, I could get those special tickets where you could be like on stage with like a performance, you know, during a concert, or like be courtside at the NBA game. And these goggles look like the technology is finally there to do something really cool with that.
I
also
what I
like the
saw.
idea that like it had cool features. Like if you had a MacBook, and it's shitty because it has to be a Mac, but if you just look at your laptop, it'll somehow it'll synchronize, and your laptop monitor will get blown up super big in front of you. So then you'll just get however big inch monitor you want, but you can
That's
make it as
awesome.
big and small as you want.
It's crazy. It looks amazing.
It seems interesting. I want to get hands on before I get too excited, because like we know how these go. We know how these feature videos go. We know how it goes with video games. We know how it goes with technology, where they promise you all kinds of nonsense, and then when it actually comes out, it's like, it's actually not as cool as they said it was going to be. It's not as seamless.
Bro, for the price point, it has to be though.
3,500, that's pricey. That's a steep price.
Like I want to know what genius came up with that in the lab. Like, 3,500 is fine. We'll definitely get buyers. I'm pretty sure they would. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the reviewers and all that. But for the regular consumers like us, if you would have said 1,000, 1,500, I would have looked at it like, dang.
I think for VR stuff, like 2,000 seems to be about like the high end price that you aim for. But who
You
knows?
gotta add the Apple tax.
You toss in the Apple tax, and this does look really cool. It does have a really interesting feature set.
Yeah.
I mean, the VR headset is like a full computer.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, if you go and look at what are some, you know, mid-range Apple like computers, and they'll be 2,000, you know, 3,000, like 3,500 is expensive. It's not that far off from what their power users are paying for. It is like a niche product, so it is a little like I don't know. Like when I look at something like that, I'm like, man, I would love to play around with this, but it's like I don't want to pay $3,500 for it.
What looks cool though about I just like how it looks. It looks cool. Doesn't look like how the Oculus and all that. It just looks like futuristic, but just dope. I don't know. I like that shit a lot. The amount of cameras and sensors it has though. I believe one of the people were saying it has like 13 or something like that cameras and sensors all around the goggle.
I can't wait for the elites of New York to start putting this on when they go outside and in the subways with their put it on. Yeah, they're gonna get robbed. Most likely, they're gonna get robbed.
I wouldn't walk around like with these on at all.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm leaving the house with wearing $3,500 on my face.
No way.
Think that thing's gonna have a battery life longer than like 3 or 4 hours too? No way.
It also has a digital.
Is that what they
crown.
said?
I have no idea. I don't know. I can't imagine it's gonna have a very long battery life unless they make it heavy, right? Batteries are heavy.
It's wired, but it's wired to like a battery pack.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, so you could see there's like a tiny little wire. What do you mean no?
They didn't say that was a battery pack. They said that's the like the PC box. That's like the
PC's in the headset. It's a battery pack. It's small, and it's like cell phone size. It like fits in your pocket or whatever. So I that made me feel like the battery life was going to be pretty substantial, and it seemed like it probably isn't mandatory to have. Like you could probably have a shorter battery life by not having that plugged in, if you wanted to go like completely wireless or whatever. But
seems interesting. I don't know if I'll get any hands-on time with it anytime soon, but it seems interesting if nothing else.
Nah, I mean, yeah, like I said, if they change the price down enough, I wouldn't mind getting something like that. That's cool. You sit at home or you're in the office doing work. I wonder how it'd be for coding though. Could you imagine coding like that? That would be crazy.
As long as it's still using a keyboard, there's no, that Minority Report thing where like the computer makes his life so much easier. That seems like it would be such an annoying UI to have to interact with.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking that out though. That's cool for sure. But come out next year, so we'll see what what the reviews will say once it's out.
I mean, a bunch of the tech like YouTubers and stuff like that, they had hands-on time with it, and they said it was incredible.
Have there been some people getting early access to it?
Yeah, they had like some conference or something like that, and so a bunch of people got to play with it. But it was like in one of those those controlled environments. You only get like 40 minutes with the headset, things like that. But they all said it was super impressive.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what everyone said. That dude, Marquise, I believe, the YouTube reviewer, I watched his stuff, and he was saying like, with 30 minutes of him having it in his hands, wasn't enough time, but it was amazing. Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what it brings. So just to come back to last episode though, found another track bike. But it's like an e-bike. Dude was selling it.
What company?
I don't remember the company.
Brand matters a lot.
I don't remember
businesses.
it. But he said he spent $2,500. But he said he was selling it for $1,000 because someone stole his batteries, and I guess both the tires are flat. Whatever. I think that's minor shit. But he was selling it for $1,000. I wish I would remember the brand so I could tell you to see if that's like a.
If it doesn't have a battery, then you don't.
It's not worth it. You can't go buy a replacement battery.
It depends. If it's an older bike like 2018, or it's no, yeah, you're not gonna be able to get that battery.
Yeah, I just thought it was might be worth it since you're the bike guru of the chat here.
Yeah, there's. Just stick with the big three and you'll be fine. Specialized e-bikes, Trek e-bikes, or Giant e-bikes. Just stick to those three big companies and you should be okay.
Still pricey though.
Or you get on one of those shady sites and you just buy the cheapest e-bike you can find on one of those sites.
Yeah, Alibaba.
Really?
Yeah, you get an Alibaba express bike.
You have to wait like a month and a half for it to ship, but
And you got to probably put it together by yourself. But yeah, you got to get a frame, and then hopefully your frame fits the battery and everything.
Nah, that's crazy.
Can we say how crazy Alibaba is?
That sounds
Like I
crazy.
remember when it first came out. I don't know if it's still like that, but you could buy anything on there.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're gonna get what you think you're buying. You know what I mean? But allegedly, you could get anything. It'd be like a yacht. You could just buy a yacht on Alibaba. You're like, $35 million.
You could buy. So wait, you could buy like an airplane.
Yeah, like everything's a purchase on Alibaba.
Do y'all remember like in old magazines, like comic books and things like that, they had like the little like the gyrocopters you could like send away to buy? I always wanted to buy one of those and put it together.
I wish.
I can't even remember what you're talking about.
You don't remember that? They had like you could send $20 and get plans to make a gyrocopter or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like the same thing where they had like the X-ray glasses and shit like that.
Reminds me, really, for me, it was like those Scholastic book fairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's all these like books, but in like towards those like other pages, they had like all the like cool like science experiment type things, and those are like more expensive. And I always wanted to get those things, but
My parents told me no every single time.
yeah, never.
That sucks.
Like
Actually-
those Scholastic book fairs used to come around, and I used to get like a bookmark.
My dad would ask me, "Why do you want to grow crystals anyway?" I was like, "I don't know. They look cool, Dad."
I saw they had video games on mine. So Roller Coaster Tycoon, that was my first experience. I love that game too. I got it from my school, the Scholastic show.
That's where you build the theme park,
That's
right?
fire.
Yeah.
That's dope.
You can just build a roller coaster that just tosses people off into the lake.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for our first topic, Florida. Under fire. The governor of Florida decided to pass a couple laws here which prevents multiple. Starts off with illegal immigrants and, them being deported. Also finding businesses for like giving these guys work. Going down to the medical billing too. A whole bunch of shit. And they were tired of it. They said, you know what? We're not coming to work one day. And is this a smart move on them? Does this, bring more light? Is this going to be a way for them to get help, maybe even change some of the things around?
You talk about Meatball Ron here, Ron the Sanctimonious.
I don't even like saying his name. That dude's a moron, bro. Not gonna lie to you.
He's about to be our
DeSantis.
next president.
I can't even say that's never gonna happen because look what happened the first time.
Anything can happen, Tony.
Yeah,
He's running for president, so we'll see how it goes. I think I know this is a deviation, but right now him and Trump are eating each other alive, and
For sure.
a lot of people in the Republican Party are now forced to choose between like who they want to support. And
Pence just tossed his hat in the ring too. He just announced his he just filed some paperwork that it seems to indicate he's going to go for a presidential run.
yeah, that's a shit show that your former VP is going to decide to run against you. It kind of feels like, I'm not going to say like orchestrated, but it kind of seems like the RNC is probably like, if they're going to choose to go against Trump, they're like, yeah, maybe convince like Mike Pence to run because it may look bad on Trump or something. But
I
That's
heard
crazy.
that if Trump doesn't get the Republican nomination, he's going to run third party just to divide the base.
yeah, I mean, that would be excellent because Cornel West is deciding to run for president. And that's only going to steal some Democratic votes. So we need some balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, about these Florida bills.
No, yeah.
It's interesting because it's like it's like illegal immigration, right? It's called, right. We call it illegal immigration, so it's like it's obviously illegal, but it's also like these bills just seem so hateful. I'm like, what's the real intent? Like what problem are we really solving? You know what I mean? Like, is illegal immigration like a problem big enough to like devote like political, like wasting political capital on? Like I don't know. I don't know what we're solving by doing this. I think a lot of people have this like notion that like you know, the South Park meme, they took our jobs. I don't think that seems to be the case. That anybody's like really taking our jobs. They seem to be filling a role in this country that a lot of Americans don't want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's been busing migrants over to New York for almost a year now. And a lot of different Texas is doing it. A whole bunch of states in the South are doing it. And the shit is just, I mean, I'm happy we're getting them, and if anybody could do it, you could make it here selling socks. You know what I mean? We'll find the spot for them. We'll find a place for them. Construction, no matter what. They're a great group of people, man. It sucks to see the backbone of this country kind of being treated like that. Once again, I feel like it's the same audience that is like shitting on Target and shitting on Budweiser and shitting on anybody who's bringing anything gay or trans into their marketing or anything like that. I think it's like it's the same people, bro.
There's a lot of overlap for sure. I mean, it's interesting because I've read things that say that like people that are, you know, in the country, you know, illegally, however you want to word it. I forget the better phrasing for that, honestly. Undocumented workers, I guess, or undocumented migrants. But they claim that when they're working, they're actually contributing more to taxes and things like that than they ever are taken out of the system. Partially because, you know, they don't have access to those. Partially because a lot of them live in fear of applying for government programs and things like that. So they're contributing more than they're taking. So what is the actual problem? What are we solving here?
So like the just to name off some of the well, not some of it, but the stuff is E-Verify requires employers to use E-Verify to check employment eligibility of the employees and find those who are not using E-Verify for $1,000 per day. So you're going to get a fine $1,000 per day if you have people there or the company is not using E-Verify for each employee. Suspends license of any employer who has or knowingly employs illegal aliens and using fake IDs to gain employment. Also providing $12 million to continue the unauthorized alien transport program to relocate the illegal immigrants.
I love how Republicans are always like freedom first, our rights, our freedoms, and then they be making these bills that are so like it's like almost a police state.
Absolutely.
That shit's wild to me.
And then it requires
to
hospitals.
be fair, I think they would say that it's freedom for Americans, and because these people are not Americans and or I should say undocumented, they don't get access to the same freedoms that Americans do.
But they work and pay taxes still. That's
Sure,
the funny
yeah, I
part.
don't disagree. I'm just
Like, I don't know. Since I live in Florida, obviously, so does Pucho, but like it's more towards South Florida. All these guys didn't come to work. The people didn't come to work. It literally messed up a lot of businesses. Even my job was affected by it. Like we went to go deliver equipment. No one's at the construction field at the job sites. No one can offload. No one can load. So there was nobody working, and you know, construction companies had to shut down for the day. They're like, "Yo, we can't do nothing. We can't continue working on these roads. We can't continue laying, you know, sewage pipes and water pipes for the city." So a lot of the stuff was on standstill. Restaurants and everything, like just going down there in Miami and, you know, trying to talk to customers. Half the customers are at their shops. I'm like, yo, why you guys, what's going on? He was like, bro, we don't have any employees. I'm like, wait a minute. All of your employees are illegal immigrants? Guy was like, apparently. I was like, and it's a big, I'm not going to say the company's name, but it's a huge company. And they have multiple multi-million-dollar job sites just sitting there with nobody there. So it's just like, damn. So I'm wondering if this is like, you know, just going to wake up the governor, open his eyes, be like, yo, maybe you need to take a step back, bro, because your city's being run by these illegal aliens. Whether you like it or not.
I'm such a fan of work stoppages and things like that. I think they are a great way to force people to recognize and negotiate.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like you gotta have some decent amount of support to pull that type of stuff off, because it could take months, if not years, of work stoppages to get what you want. And oftentimes, the people that need to do work stoppages are the people that can't really afford to pull something like that off.
I mean, this would be the advantage of having some kind of union or something, right? Because unions typically have like what do they call it? Assistance funds or something like that to help people through whenever they're doing strikes or work stoppages or anything like that.
I thought Florida was like a non-union state or some shit like that.
It's a right to work.
It's a right to work, so it makes it harder to start unions because then
you'll just get fired.
You'll just get fired. They'll just bust you.
Right. You gotta
same with
secretly form a union or whatever, but they can't stop a union from existing. You know, union's just a collection of people that are gonna say, "Okay, we'll all quit." You're gonna fire 20 of us at once, like.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is too, like, just not going into work. That kind of opens the eye, like, oh wow, we need them, and also like, wow, this company really has that many people that are undocumented working for them. It's like a, you know, magnifying glass. You're just like, okay, we're gonna definitely come back to you and talk to you about this and that. So I mean, in retrospect, you're gonna hurt the city more than them being here, to be honest. So it's like, you know, groceries, you know, like the farm jobs and all that, all these jobs that, you know, people think like, oh, we don't need them here. Who's going to go and do those? Not me. I'm not going to go out there picking tomatoes for 35 cents a day type shit. I'm not going to do any of that. For no way in hell.
It seems like Florida's just attacking everyone that's not Christian and straight.
They're
attacking gay. The Don't Say Gay bill. Now you can't. They banned the drag shows. You can't bring in children around some shows or some shit like that. It's just a really. I don't know why
the anti-woke bills.
Yeah,
which in their definition, woke just means black. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Did you see that politician that came out? I forget who it was that came out, and they when they were defining woke, they said basically, you know, it's anti-white. It's anything that's not white.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
It seems like a very not place I would want to go and live. I think.
Damn, that's wild because Florida used to be like your next stop plan, right?
Yeah, for sure. I would never want to live in a place like that. Like, fuck that. The shit is so backwards. Everyone's so stupid. I don't know how to like it. They're just
I'm not gonna lie to you, though.
Um,
I blame most of the Hispanics for this. They're the ones that go hard. The Cubans and the other Hispanics, they go hard for Ron. They go hard for them.
I think you get hateful groups in every group of.
They're not
people.
even hateful. They just so, I don't know what it is, bro. They suck that Kool-Aid up so much that they don't even have knowledge of what's going on, bro.
It's simple, Tony. It's simple. All that they have to do is drop a political ad and say that the Democrat that's running is a socialist, and those Cuban people they'll line up to vote for whoever is running against the socialist. Like that's what it comes down to.
Not only that, but a lot of Cuban people don't even want to be identified as Cuban. They want to be identified as white American. So they'll shed that entire Cuban identity and So they don't care about Cubans. They don't care about anybody else. You know what I mean? They're just as racist as like the white racists. Like it sucks, but it is what it is. I don't ever like. It sucks. It sucks, but you definitely get a lot of that, even up here.
Do you think they should do another protest and stop work again?
Yeah, I think people should just move out of Florida and say, you know what I mean, and say fuck that economy, and move out elsewhere. Move to Georgia. Move to all the neighboring states where they're accepting of immigrants. Come up to New York.
And how long do you think that lasts until you get overpopulated?
No, I don't think anything. I don't think everybody always talks about overpopulation, but there's more than enough room for anybody up here.
There's a lot of land in the middle of the country, I'll tell you that much.
I bet ain't nothing out there though.
Yeah, they got the East Coast cities going up and down. They got Virginia. They got a lot of choices, and I think they'll be much better off than supporting and giving taxes to that type of ideology.
Where are they gonna live in these places though?
I'm just saying they can go to Atlanta. They can go to North Carolina.
Let's say you drop a bunch of immigrants off in New York City. Everybody's already complaining about gentrification, about how expensive housing is, and all this stuff. It's like, where do all these people go to live? Like,
we're having a migrant crisis right now because there's so many migrants being shipped to New York that we just don't have enough. It's basically stressing the shelter system out. So we're busing them to friendly counties and stuff like that in New York.
So what do you think is going to happen in Georgia? Like, Georgia's the first state right there. You know what I mean? So it's
I think Florida's sending a clear message. We don't like black ideology. We don't want immigrants here. Let them have their little purity land down there. I think personally, if Disney didn't have so much invested, they'd be the fuck out too.
I think Disney is honestly making moves to get out of Florida. I don't think that's going to be an impossibility there.
Yeah, I just don't see why anybody would want to be somewhere where their constituents are telling them to get out.
Tony, are you about to ask where would Disney move to?
No, I'm asking you where did you get this information from?
Oh, no, I don't have any information. I don't have any special information. I just would be very surprised if they weren't making moves like that. Okay. If you've got a government that's openly going to war with your corporation, to like a legal war against your corporation, cut losses. They've got more money than God. They can move wherever they want to. And any state they choose to move to is going to offer them so many tax breaks and so much incentive to move there. They could announce tomorrow they're going to move out to Ohio. They bend over backwards to get Disney in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Ohio will bend over backwards. Those people have lost so much like business over the years that like they would fucking bend over. They wouldn't even charge Disney a thing. It would just be pure benefits. They'd just be happy to have so many jobs come to the state.
Disney could move up to Detroit and revitalize that entire fucking city, dude. Like,
that's crazy how Disney has that much power. I mean, he creates a massive amount of jobs. The hotels they'll build up. Like, it would definitely change the whole entire state.
It immediately turns whatever city they go to into a tourist town.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say that to Doe's point, two things. One, all these decisions were around DeSantis because I'm left wondering, like, what's the point of doing this stuff? And I can't think of any point besides like. It just seems politically popular among his base to do so. Like, I don't think these things are going to be good for the state and for the people, but I do think it's going to help him get reelected if he wants to run in Florida, and I do think it'll help him like get a presidential bid. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to look to Florida and be like, "Oh, he did so good," you know what I mean? That and. To Doe's point, the people that like him, I'm not going to lie, they're pretty dumb. That's usually the feeling I have. Like, when I see people that are like, oh, they love him so much, I just be like, you're dumb. Like, when I really like the conversation they're having, they don't give a damn about the impact any of this has. They just care that like he's sticking it to the man, or I don't know who the man is in this case, but he's fighting the liberals. You know what I mean? And they just love the idea of that, even though these actions are not good for them or anyone really. But I don't know. It just seems so strange to me.
Agreed. Like, it's almost like those videos of when Trump was going and they asked the fans like, "Oh, what about Trump this or what about that?" And they were just saying offlandish shit. Like, did it make sense? But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be nice if they do another protest again,
I think so.
or maybe a week. I mean, that's going to be hurting them though, pocket wise. You know what I mean? Money. But that would, I mean, a week shutdown. Oh man, we're talking millions. Like, at this point, he's gonna have to wake up and be like, "Damn, like there's no way we can do this without them."
They the NAACP just they issued a travel warning for African Americans going down to Florida, kind of just telling them not to go.
Yeah, that was
And
weird though. I don't
I
know.
think
Like,
it's appropriate.
I don't. Based on what?
All this legislation that's being passed.
Like, what legislation's being passed that like
Don't say
black people are
gay.
in danger?
Don't say gay bill. It just seems like a place where a wide array of people are actively being told they don't want to be there.
I will say, like, the fact that these things are getting passed and there's people that, you know, celebrating it, it does make it feel like Florida might be moving up the ranks on like the most racist states, possibly. I don't know what
up there.
I don't know what the definitive ranking of the most racist states is, but I feel like Florida's moving up the ranks for sure.
Same. It's a shame.
I feel like if you were going to be charitable, right? Like, what these bills really represent, right? Are like, these are a series of topics that we don't think are appropriate for our children. I don't think that in and of itself is that hateful. Like, I don't think it's hateful at all. Now, the things you decide or the reasons why you're saying they're inappropriate and things like that, like those things could come from a hateful place. But I don't know how, like, I don't know. I saw the NAACP issue that travel advisory, and I'm like, what is this even? I don't know. It just seemed like such a weird gesture. Like, I was like, even reading through it, I'm like, what thing are they really pointing to that makes traveling to Florida a dangerous place? It wasn't clear to me, but
I read it as just like the there's increase of racism and things like that go along with bills like this being passed. Like, it's I mean, it's got roots back in what was that thing called, the Green Book or whatever? They made that movie about it, right?
Yeah, it's you remember sundown towns? A lot of them used to be down south. So it just goes back to that type of ideology that I feel like Florida's coming. It's weird, bro. It's very regressed way of thinking. But even when I go down there and I look around and I talk to people, I'm like, you guys are taking a long time for this, like, moving forward, like progressive. I was like, wow, this is very backwards thinking. They're still very extremely homophobic. It's just weird to me.
Pooch, did you see any of the stop work shit over there in Orlando?
nah, I don't really work in like any fields that are like, or even I'm not even around like that much construction. So I be working from home now. I don't even leave my house most days. So it's like, yeah, I'm not the right person to ask on you know, what the situation is like out here, to be honest. Yeah, my opinion just purely stems from the stuff that I've read. I've read that there's like a lot of truckers and things like that are refusing to come into the state and are moving out of the state and doing work elsewhere and things like that. All that just sounds bad to me. Not bad on those people, but just bad that the climate that's been created here is going to stifle like business opportunities and stuff like that. But
Yeah, nah, it's sad that this is going on. But this is why voting is important, and actually doing your research on who you're voting for, because you wouldn't be in this situation. But either way, see what happens, and hopefully this goes in a better direction. Well, in other news, are sequels always a needed for movies? Can some just have, one part, no extras? Or does, a trilogy or a sequel with a spin-off is needed? A perfect example. Fast and Furious. We're on the Fast 10 right now.
And it's like the 11th movie, right? Like it's not actually the 10th. Doesn't Tokyo Drift like happen outside the series or something? I'm not caught up on the movies.
It's not. It's part of it for sure. That people would say that it's not. But it is.
I think it's definitely part of it because I think the fourth Fast and the Furious movie is the fourth movie, and Tokyo Drift didn't get a number, but I think the next one that came out they labeled it Part 4.
Did they?
So I
label
think they
it Part 4?
recognized Tokyo Drift as Part 3.
Yeah, it has a.
And then there's the spin-off, right? The something in Hobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all part of
Calvin and
it.
Hobbes.
I'll say this, Tony, you picked the wrong series, all right? Because the Fast and the Furious fans love these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time they come out, they eat this shit up, and they're looking forward to the next installment. You should have went with, like, the Resident Evil movies. It's like, who needed that many movies?
What?
Way too many movies.
So garbage.
I love the series. You're
You're the
bugged
only
out.
person. You're the only person.
Yo, Resident Evil, come holla at your boy. Put me in the movie. I love the movie. The movie is fire. This man's bugging. You could have said something even better than that. You could have said the Matrix trilogy. Or do you need all four? Actually, no, that's a great fucking movie. I'll take that back. I retract all that.
No,
I think
I'm there
it's
with you.
good.
I only like the Matrix one.
Same.
I think
Matrix 1 and the
2
last
is-
one is fire.
4?
4
I
is
like
fire.
The one that's universally hated?
I liked 4 actually. I thought it was all right.
Universally hated. Where was this? Where was this at? Oh, who stamped that?
The entire internet?
The internet's trash, then.
I would rank them 1, 3, 4, 2.
Not bad. No. If I would have to rank it, 4 is number 3 for sure.
Doey, him fighting 5 billion Agent Smiths is so dumb, but it's so
bad.
good.
That's in part 2, right?
That's
I thought that was in part 3.
And the ending of part 3, he's outside and there's like 5 billion agents, but he might fight them all again there. But the one that's like all green and he's like in like a park or something, that's the
two?
second
I
movie.
hated it.
Yeah. With the twins,
I
right?
loved-
It had those two twins.
The second movie had the twins and the highway scene. I think the Matrix movies if you had to rank them, go in release order. I think 1 is the best, followed by 2, followed by 3, followed by 4 in my mind. And really, I'm saying 1 is like a masterpiece. 2 is a good action movie. 3 is like, I thought we were watching an action movie. What is this? And 4 is like, dude, what are y'all even doing? 4
not
might be
gonna lie
better
to
than
you.
3, actually.
Yeah.
Other than 1, the animated series is better than 2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
animated series.
I mean,
is
the
definitely-
gonna lie.
Animatrix was fantastic.
Yeah, it's
The-
like
Yeah.
literally better than the second movie.
Yeah, 1 is a masterpiece, followed by the Animatrix, which is amazing. I love it.
yeah,
that's
I
another-
could agree with that ranking all day for the first 2 slots.
Did you guys ever play the PS2 games, The Path of the Neo, and also the other one with the Chinese guy and the black girl?
I played the MMO one though, because they had the Matrix MMO for
No,
a
the,
while.
Outta
the
here.
teaser or the demo or whatever. Another movie too that I don't think you needed to have the sequel or whatever is Bad Boys. I don't think we needed that many Bad Boys, to be honest.
Bad Boys 2 is pretty legit compared to Bad Boys 1 though.
I
Bad Boys 2 is
I
so
like Bad
long.
Boy 1, man.
They're all long movies. They're way longer than they should be.
I know this is in the... Sorry, what were you going to say about the Matrix games, though? Were you going to say anything?
They're just so good that they're horrible. I don't know how to like describe the Path of Neo. I've never loved and hated a game so much. It just none of it made sense, and it had like the fight. It has the final fight with and it looks terrible. They compress everyone down to like these flat sizes, so it's a bunch of Mr. Andersons, but they're all like stick figures, and you're fighting them. It just looks terrible.
He meant Agent Smith's people.
Yeah, Agent Smiths.
Neo is Mr. Henderson.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was gonna say, I know it's not in this. It's actually the exact opposite of the question you're asking. But Mission Impossible is another movie series. They've made so many sequels, and they're all good. Go watch the Mission Impossible series. Like, I don't like 2. 2 is. I would put 2 as one of like 4 bad Tom Cruise movies. Tom Cruise is a guy, you could go through this whole list. Scientology's working for this guy. You could go through a list of all his movies, and it's like Mission Impossible 2. I think Rock of Ages, was it, right? It's like a movie, he's like a rock star. Those might be his only 2 bad movies. Like,
What's wrong with Mission Impossible 2?
it's not good.
You didn't watch it.
Honestly,
there's no way you say that.
I think Mission Impossible 1 and 2 definitely the weakest in the series.
Oh, it goes
I don't think
1, 3.
I don't think 1 holds up that well. I feel like no one here has watched Mission Impossible 1 recently. I guarantee you that movie does not hold up.
I'm gonna go back
I've
and
watched
watch
it
it now.
recently. I love Mission Impossible 1, but it's definitely it's a more boring vibe. It is more, it's like a Jason Bourne movie without the fighting.
That's another one.
It's like just like a lot of like I don't know. It's
almost
very,
it's almost like a political thriller or something, right?
It's probably how this would go down in real life, where like minus like the cool break-in scene or whatever, but it's like just a lot of conversations, calling people, trying to piece the story together. Whereas like these new Mission Impossibles, they feel like an Ocean's 11 movie, where they're pulling off like these crazy and crazier stuff. Every Mission Impossible is crazier than the last, and everybody loves it, including myself. Mission Impossible is the superior version of like the Fast and the Furious type movie.
Also, another one that no one can get rid of, Transformers.
Bro, that was going to be the one I was going to say, that it's atrocious how many Transformers movies there are.
So much.
I thought the first Transformers was good.
I like
My wife and I shared our first kiss watching Transformers, actually.
Aww.
I don't know if I ever shared that.
Does she call you her little wiki?
That's what she calls my little penis, little wiki. Nah, no, not at all. But yeah, that movie was pretty good. The rest of them are like, for what? Why are we doing this?
No, yeah.
I
Jason
haven't
Bourne,
watched the new one. Maybe it's good, man.
that Jason Bourne trilogy or whatever you want to call that, that's magnificent. I love those kind of movies. Those are the movies that are like action packed, not no fake shit. It's just constant. There's a bunch of good movies like that. 007 is the same way.
I mean,
They're all good.
it's obvious, right? Like it's harder to make a sequel that's good, right? Like, because we can think of way more examples of bad sequels, I think, than good sequels, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Friday,
Like
all of them are good. I think in my books,
Hell
some
no.
of them are less good though. Some of them are.
they're good.
Friday 1 is a masterpiece. It is not a good comedy movie. It's just a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday 2 is like,
It gets
or
a little
next
goofier.
Friday, it's like, it's okay.
3,
But
fire.
3 is atrocious.
3 is
it anybody-
terrible.
With Pinky and Day Day.
It's so.
That's the second movie.
No, it's not.
I mean, they both have Pinky and Day Day, but the one where they introduce Pinky and Day Day is next Friday. Trust me, Tony,
no,
you don't
yeah.
even watch movies. All right? You
Oh
sleep
my
to
god,
movies.
here we go.
Scary Movie 3 introduced the pimp. This guy, Cat Williams.
Right.
Scary Movie 3.
Not Scary Movie 3, Friday 3.
Friday afternoon.
Scary Movie also
Yeah.
got much the Wayans brothers really like held that together. 1 and 2 are masterpieces.
Right. 1 is incredible. 2 is not that incredible, but it has a lot of iconic scenes. The big coming where he like plasters her to the ceiling. That was atrocious. That guy with the weird hand, he's like trying to stuff the chicken and shit. But it's not a good movie. Then you get into just horrible. And then they got spin-offs with that girl that all I could think of her is like that dumb white girl from the scary movies. And she's always like, oh, why? Like, I don't know. She's one of the main characters. She's probably the main character of Scary Movie, actually.
There was a lot of like those spoof movies back in the day that I don't even remember. There was like a high school one. There was
There was a Spartans one. There was a We Are the Spartans or something like that. That was like spoofing the movie 300.
You're right.
Oh yeah.
It was much more popular back in the day. They don't make those movies anymore.
But what do you think, like, when it goes to like making sequels and stuff, right? What do you think? Do you think they do it just because of how much they sold? Like, oh man, we can repeat this.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, if I were a director and I had just filmed like a successful, breaking box office records type movie, and they asked me to do a sequel, I'd be shitting myself. I think it's so hard to do a sequel to a movie if you don't have it pre-planned out to be like that. Like the Bourne movies, I think those were designed to be like a trilogy, right? Like it wasn't like they made the first one and they were like, we made a lot of money on this Bourne movie. We should make a second one now.
No, yeah, I think after Fast and Furious 2, they just started just throwing up random fucking stories. They were like, all right, we're gonna add this cop. Oh yeah, we're gonna put this guy in The Rock, and it just kept going and going to now. I can't keep up with the storyline. I don't know what the fuck's going on in Fast. I don't even remember Fast 9, let alone Fast 10's out.
I think it's funny to go back and watch the first Fast and Furious movie, and they're like doing this crazy heist to like steal like DVD players or VHS players. Or
they are risking life and limb for some DVD players, bro. Even if you wanted to like equate it to nowadays, a truck full of PS5s, none of what they're doing is worth the PS5s in the truck.
Remember that whole joke they had about the longest runway? But the plane just kept going and going. It would never end.
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute chase scene or something.
Fucking wild.
They got the one where that like oil tanker or whatever crashes and it just like rolls on the highway for like a minute straight. You're like, how could it? There's no way it could have that much momentum. Like, I remember me and Mike used to just watch that and just fucking laugh hysterically. It would be like boom, boom, boom. It was just like rolling and rolling and rolling.
Do you
You're
think,
like,
other than making another one like a trilogy or whatever, would you say the spin-offs are actually the better approach to do it than making another, like making a part 2 of a movie, whatever? Like Game of Thrones came out, right? They're doing a whole spin-off now with just, Jon Snow. Do you think them just doing the spin-offs is better than them trying to do like a Game of Thrones continuation of the story? You know what I mean? Like, or is it a little bit different because that's not a movie, it's more of a series?
I think a spin-off is definitely the better approach if a series was not like planned out. Like even like Mateo said, I don't even think the Bourne series was a planned out movie because even
are they not?
I think what they did was first off, there's a series of books, so who knows how many books there
that's
are.
What I thought. I figured there was a book series, so that's why it was based off of.
But it's like every movie ends. Like they're like it almost feels like they're saying, who knows if this movie hits in the box office, we ended the movie open-ended so we could always tack on a sequel. And it's like I don't think they think like they don't I don't think it's all planned out. I think they just end it in a way they could like tack on sequels. But even that's better than other movies where you'll just have a story that was completely finished and they'll just like find a way to like create new stories in this because ultimately they made money. They're like, all right, people like these actors, people like, you mostly see it in TV shows that just go on for too long.
I think that I think that movies like Indiana Jones did it really well, right? Like because there's 3 Indiana Jones movies, they're all self-contained. You can watch any one of them in any order. You don't need to know anything else coming into those movies. You don't need to have watched The Last Crusade or Temple of Doom or anything to watch any of the other ones and miss any plot or anything. They're all very self-contained stories. I think Indiana Jones did it the best way, honestly.
You know who else did it the best?
For all three of their movies.
The Ernest Goes To series, all right? You can watch any of those series, any order, last to first, first to last. Ernest always in some shit, and you're gonna have fun.
The all-time most famous trilogy, or whatever you want to call it, Star Wars, bro. I don't think...
Yeah, that's
I
too
think
much.
they're
They've
the Hall
released
of
so
Fame.
much. I hate all the shit that they're doing right now, except for Andor.
You're bugged out.
I don't know. I think they're kind of in their bag lately with them just doing spin-offs. I think that's the better move than what they've done. Honestly, that Solo movie, way better than anyone. It's underrated. That movie's underrated itself.
Yes, it
Everyone
is.
shit all over that movie. That movie is great, honestly.
Bro, and just the cartoon, the kids' cartoons, I'm up to date to all of them. Bro, they're all good, and they go with the story. It's crazy. Disney Plus literally has them all mapped out in order that you should watch them. So if you wanted to binge one night, it includes a little animated series and everything in between the movies, just how it goes. Most perfect thing to do. And yeah, Star Wars is, I think that's going to be around even when our kids are older. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't going nowhere. That's just one that's just you can't go bad doing that.
You know what movie didn't need a sequel? Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo 2 is garbage.
I think that's a spin-off. I don't think that was like a part two. Was it a part two?
It has
It's
a
part two.
It's just so forgettable that nobody even remembers what it's about.
It's about
It's
Dory
about
finding
Dory
her parents.
looking for her family.
Yeah. They didn't need a spin-off, though.
Do they
I feel
find
bad
it?
about
'Cause
Dory. I feel bad for Dory. She got no memory. That's sad.
Yeah, but I've heard that she's real abusive to her staff behind the scenes.
Same.
The fish? I'm out of the loop on
It's
something.
it's the orca shit all over again. Boo.
The orca shit.
Never trust someone that speaks whale, Pooch.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What are some of the worst part two movies? Or the movie that should never have made another one?
Oh my god, the list is just endless.
The entire Leprechaun series. Also, y'all missed out on one. Is it one of the Leprechaun movies a certified hood classic?
We put it out there. We didn't miss
the
that
Leprechaun in the hood. Ain't nobody want to claim that shit.
one. Nobody wanted to claim that shit.
Y'all claim Vampire in Brooklyn.
I made them claim that.
Tony put that on me. I accepted it because I have to take something bad.
American Pie didn't need all those extra ones.
I kind of enjoy a lot of the American Pie
The
series.
American Pie
I
is
did
good.
too. Jackass. I think those are all the Jackass movie. I think they're all hilarious.
Did we need all the police academies?
No, that's what I was just gonna say. There's police academies. There's Highlander. Oh my god, the
First movie's legit though, dude.
The first movie I really like. The Highlander sequels are atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. It's
You
bad.
know one that has way too many sequels? A Land Before Time. That stupid ass dinosaur kids. They have
First
like
off,
9.
not stupid. You're tripping.
Yeah, I
right?
think you're.
Littlefoot
Land
That's the
Before
fir-
Time 1 is one of
is
my.
fire. Yeah.
That's
shit
the
made me
first
cry,
movie that
bro.
has made me cry. The absolute first movie that made me cry was that fucking movie.
Nah, it was Lion King. Lion King did it for me.
I didn't give a damn about Mufasa. To me, that was just like, that's some kingdom shit. They're feuding and stuff. It's whatever. Yo, Littlefoot's mama getting killed,
yeah,
that
that's
shit
sad.
was depressing. He was all alone in the rain, looking at his mother's dead body. I was like, this ain't for kids.
I don't know how that shit was rated for kids. I showed Luke a Lion King thing when Mufasa died. I think I sent this to y'all. He was in shock. He was sad. And I seen the emotion on his face. I'm like, damn, I think I fucked up my kid's life because I was fucked when I saw this the first time too. And it's crazy. I don't know how those are rated for kids. Don't know how. Even Little Mermaid. We don't need that many damn Little Mermaid. The fuck? We didn't need that.
Didn't the rest go directly to like DVD or VHS or something though? Like, Do those count as sequels? I guess they do.
Yeah, they have
The
to.
Aladdin sequel is good, if I'm not correct.
Hell
Is
no.
that the Prince
No.
of Thieves or
That's
something like that?
That's the second. It is part 3.
Part 3
There's
is
the
good.
Return of Jafar,
Yeah.
where Jafar comes and he starts messing shit up.
No,
And
no,
then
no.
part
turn-
3 is
he turns
Aladdin
into-
finds his dad or something.
One of them he turns into the genie, or is that the first one?
In the movie ends with Jafar getting turned into a genie, but the second movie is Jafar as a genie is the villain.
Yeah, because they trap in the lamp in the first movie.
And they send them off. Yeah, no.
How about the Karate Kid?
No,
Every
you can't
single
mess with
one
that.
of those sequels was necessary.
Yeah, you can't
What?
mess with that.
Oh my god. Okay. I think the first movie is a masterpiece. It's like it's like one of the defining movies of the 80s and it means I love that movie. And then Karate Kid 2, 3 and the next Karate Kid are all like why?
All
The last one
necessary.
you could
Pooch.
say that.
Pooch,
The last
I
one
will
you
tell.
could say
I will
that.
tell you why every
No,
single
I
one of those
like
movies
the
is
last one
necessary.
with Will Smith's son was good and Jackie Chan. That was a good movie. That was
Every
like the reboot.
Every single one was necessary, and I will tell you why. Because without them, we would not have Cobra Kai.
Hey, facts.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hot
I could
one.
admit that.
The Godfather. It didn't need that many. It did
I
not
mean-
need that many.
Godfather 1 and 2 are necessary.
The rest are not.
3. It's just 3. There's just one more. It
No,
could
isn't
go.
there 4?
No.
Or am I thinking about the other show then? Oh, that's a show. That's Sopranos.
What? What is happening
Tony,
up here?
I don't know what.
I could
don't
have
know
sworn there
what
was
you be
4
on about.
Godfather movies. I could have sworn there were.
Name 4 seasons of Sopranos. They're like 6. So it's like, I don't even know what you're
Yeah, but I
conflating.
thought, yeah.
What we should be talking about, all right? And we ain't talking about it enough. Doey over here, Mr. Yo soy cubano, man. How about Scarface 2? Should
There's a
not
Scarface
exist.
2?
There's a Scarface too?
What?
Oh, yeah. And it's
I didn't
bad.
know that. I
Nah,
didn't
he's
know
gonna
that.
watch it tonight. The boy's gonna watch it for sure.
Does it open up and he just like pops back up, does some cocaine, and he's fine?
No, it's like
Scarface 2,
it's like
Tony's
Scarface's
Revenge.
son or some. Yeah, it's like his.
His son he had with his sister. Doughboy's theory is
Right? Or
correct.
did I invent it? What movie is it? Carlito's Way too?
I think it's Carlito's way you
Don't-
talking
Oh,
He's
yeah,
gonna-
I'm just grabbing an Al Pacino movie. I'm pretty sure there's a movie with like. I could be making this up. Now I
Doey's
gotta go
completely
find it.
right. I thought that he was in love with his sister also when I watched that movie.
No, they made a game called Scarface 2. They made a game.
I'm surprised we didn't even talk about video game sequels as part of this thing. I thought that was going to be your entire thing, Tony.
No, actually, no. It was just movies. But yeah, I mean, there is a bunch, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
monster, bro.
We're also reaching time on this
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
definitely
but nah,
I'm
like
curious. Speaking about video game sequels, though, that Helldivers 2, I don't know how excited to be about it or not. The first game was phenomenal. The second one, they're doing a third person over the shoulder thing.
it looks good. I
It
think I
does
like
look
that.
good, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
All right,
Anyways,
I will say I conflated Al Pacino movies, and it is Carlito's Way too.
Oh.
Carlito's Way, a great movie.
Yeah.
Did not need a sequel. And
that's
the
a
sequel's
South one
terrible.
too.
What about some movies
The whole
that
movie takes place in New York City. This guy, South movie. What are you talking about?
Here's some proof that every movie doesn't need a sequel. That like sequels tend to make things worse though. Like think of some like examples of like really good movies and think of how like ridiculous a sequel would be to that. The Shawshank Redemption 2. Just them down in Mexico messing around.
I want to kind of see what happens next though. Maybe like a little TV,
A mini series or
30
something?
minute little thing. I often feel like a movie ends sometimes like 15, 20 minutes too soon.
I'll give
I
you a
just want a
better one.
little bit more.
Give you a better one.
That-
Blade. You didn't need all those blades. Just one Blade movie. That's all you needed.
I don't
That's
think
it.
you need a Blade. Blade was
What?
not needed.
Blade was a good movie. Also like Gremlins. I didn't need a part 2. Gremlins was fire for me as a kid.
Gremlins Part 2 gave us a sexy Gremlins, so it made the world a better place, Tony.
Y'all remember that Underworld series with the pale ass
Oh, I
vampires
love
and
that
shit?
Yeah, it
That's
was,
my
it was basically
shit.
like it was vampires plus the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Vikings and vampires. That was my shit. I love that series. Shit's fire. But Either way.
How does Tony always like all the terrible things? Next, Tony's gonna say he loved Aeon Flux, and he.
That was actually not bad.
No,
That
get
wasn't-
out of here.
Is that the one with the spiky grass that was just
Yes,
like,
it
yeah,
is.
that
It's
wasn't
the one with
bad.
the spiky
That wasn't bad.
No,
I
can
know
fuck
who you
with
are,
that.
Tony. I finally figured you out.
Because of the spiky grass. I fuck with that. All right, man. Moving on.
It mostly checks out because you also like the Resident Evil movies. That Underworld, Aeon Flux, they're all like in a category of
Sci-fi shit.
horrible action movies with female protagonists. And it makes sense that you like them.
Okay.
Tomb Raider also kind of sucked.
Now with Angelina Jolie in it, them sexy lips. I was like growing up as a kid, she was the most beautiful woman to me. I don't know. The guns. She had those dual guns. She was blasting short shorts and tank tops all over the place. Kid shit.
All
Anyways.
of high school, though, he had a Tomb Raider poster on as well. And
He did. That's right. And you're shit.
he
all
shouldn't
over
be
it.
That was
shit talking
Michael's.
as well.
That was Michael's poster.
I see.
Oh, okay.
And you
okay.
check behind it, there was a tunnel leading out to freedom.
Anyways, man, why does communication fail between family, friends, and coworkers?
Because Tony doesn't listen normally.
Damn, see,
Tony
this,
definitely doesn't use enough words.
how this shit just became me now? This is all right. It's
You
not
asked
just
the
about me.
question.
That's awesome.
You just asked the question.
That's crazy. It's just that people don't want to listen to the CEO. That's the real problem here.
I think the main breakdown in communication happens when, and I'm not picking on you, Tony, but people don't share enough information, and they just assume that the other person knows what they're talking about. So then somebody's confused, and somebody goes and it's like, "Yo," trying to ask for clarification, and those questions of clarification creates fights. When in reality, the first person should have volunteered more information.
My mentor likes to say that in the absence of information, people will always assume the worst. I find it to be mostly true, especially like in my everyday work. Like, if you're not responding to something, someone's assuming you're not working on it. Like that's going to be the assumption.
I would say over communication is also another one of those failure ones too. Too much information is also bad.
It can be. You send me an email and it's just a paragraph. I'm going to skim it. I'm not reading all of that.
And like another thing too is like when you're communicating, like there's 4 people in a group and 2 people are going back and forth, and then one person chimes in and be like, wait, what are you who you talking to or whatever. It's like it's kind of evident. Like it's there. Like you see 2 people are going back and forth. Like with Pucho, right? It's a perfect example. Me and Dobo would be talking, Pucho would be like, who are you talking about? And they'd be like, what are you confused about? Just read what I'm saying and you'll understand that I'm talking to Doughboy. I'm only responding to him.
You also have conversations with 2 people at the same time.
Correct.
No.
But I'm the bad guy.
I didn't say you was a bad guy. I'm just saying, as an example, that's what me and Doughboy were talking, and you'd just be like, oh, confusion.
Nah, I think it's you not using enough words. Doyle will ask a question, and I'll ask a question at the same time, and then you'll just respond yes. And I'm like, not sure who you're responding to.
Yep.
Yup. That was one of your
That
responses
was
this
to
week.
directly to you.
Literally,
It was not.
the letter O. Enter. Forgot. Enter. Oh,
Oh,
forgot.
Oh, forgot. It's like,
forgot. But no, I think a lot of that too goes with like people are afraid to approach. You know what I mean? Like at jobs, like a lot of people are afraid to approach their boss or someone else, thinking that their idea might be dumb. So that could also lead. I mean, just the fear of your job could lead to you're not communicating enough. Family, it's always going to be someone's opinion is better than the other.
I think with family, people tend to just respond emotionally. Like people just drop all logic out of their lives whenever they're talking with their family, and it's pure emotion.
Yeah.
I think with family and friends, you have the baggage of the thousands of conversations that have already happened.
Yes.
Like, for example, people when I say people, I have a few friends that include Tony that claim things like I always need to be right or I always do that. Well, I don't know what that is, or they say that. Oh, you always do that. When I'm just trying to have like a regular ass conversation, but it's just like I must have done something one time that they've categorized as bad. And then like after that, anytime I do anything that's even close to that, even though I'm not intending anything like that, I'm just maybe asking a simple ass question. Instead of them actually engaging in a conversation, it now becomes about the thing that I did. And it's like, oh man, I thought we were just having a conversation.
What is the claim? Because I've seen these claims before. Where it's like, that's classic Pucho. He just asked 20 questions and now suddenly he wins the argument because you get tired of arguing with them or whatever.
There's a bunch of claims. There's mathematical pooch, right? There's
technical pooch.
Technical pooch is the same thing, or never wrong pooch, or the defender pooch, and that's only a thing to Doughboy. He always defends Doughboy, takes Doughboy's side, and that's what one of our friends, mutual friend, be like, oh, classic Pucho shit. Just always taking someone's side, and no matter what, we can't tell him different because he knows everything.
I think you guys are just jealous that I have a smart friend.
So is he not my friend?
Now, so usually the way this goes down is this, right? Somebody says something like, red paint is the best paint. I don't even have an opinion on paints, but I'll just be like, what do you mean red paint is like based on what? And I would just ask them a series of questions trying to like pick their brain. And then I point out inconsistencies in the things that they're telling me. And now they're interpreting this as I don't think red paint's the best paint. But I actually don't have an opinion about this. I'm just trying to understand their opinion. And this line of questioning, of trying to understand like what someone is saying, will result in them getting angry with me about something.
You'll be like, I like flowers. And Pucho's like, if those flowers were covered in shit, would you like them? You'll be like, no.
No.
Inconsistent.
That's actually a good example because Pucho does to make his point. To make his point, he'll go from to the extreme. There's no like.
Nah. People, flower. That's a bad example. It'd be more important. It'd be more serious. Like someone will say, "Killing is always wrong," and I'm like, really? Like I could think of a few ways that we could agree killing is not wrong.
I was gonna say, Pucho fights absolutes with other absolute, like with statements to pick at the absolutes. I know that Pucho does not like absolutes.
Right. I'm not saying. Okay, oh, what if the flowers are covered in shit? It's like, that's like a weird one. But I do, if somebody makes a crazy claim that I know they don't agree with, that's really my main frustration. People like to make statements that I know they don't really agree with if they thought about it for more than 4 seconds. I try to point out, you don't really believe this. You believe something different. And they get pissed off about that. They're like, I'll get at the end this like reluctance agreement. Like, if you want to put it like that, then sure.
Yeah, sure. I have morals.
Yeah, Doi once told me he has morals.
Unlike you,
Doi believes in God and I don't.
Morals.
Doi told me, I've got moral. I don't know about you, but I've got morals.
I do want to go back to.
I was like, oh God.
What Pucho said about the baggage of conversations. I think that's a huge point to like have a conversation with your friends or family. The amount of baggage or like, like the conversation that just goes left and you just get tired of it. Already having a conversation about a disagreement that you guys have, even if it's a complete normal conversation, no screaming, no cursing, no yelling, you already are at the highest point of I don't even give a fuck if you're not even willing to talk to me, and that right there is a negative. Even if you're the person that's always the right one, you bring in that baggage to the conversation. You're the one that's going to be in the wrong every time. It's because you can't bring previous conversations into a new conversation. The baggage part of it, I would say.
I think if those situations go unresolved, I think you have an issue. Like,
That's also another,
especially if they
another
get bad
communication
and you
thing.
don't talk about it afterwards and like come to terms. I think that's the reason why this podcast has like longevity, is that if we do have issues, we talk it out. I don't think we have anything unresolved right now.
I don't
So
think
I
we've
think-
got any unresolved stuff currently.
Yeah. And that's not to say that we're not going to fight in the future, but I think we make a good effort of, okay, shit's kind of hit the fan. We kind of have to regroup and talk.
We had like a good 20 episode run where we were pissed at each other the whole time. I was like, this is horrible.
Oh man.
But it was like the fights were compounding. And not just for us, but in general, people have a tendency to not want to resolve conversations. Being in the thing that pissed everybody off is too upsetting for them. They just prefer to like walk away from that situation. But then the problem is that the other people involved have unresolved feelings. So then anytime anything else comes up, it's all coming out now. My problem, and people have called me an ammo bagger. My problem is, I think I do a pretty decent job of trying to compartmentalize, like, all right, this is somebody's like past mess ups. They're trying to be different. I'm gonna like try to judge them on like this like new stuff. What always gets me is that A, I don't forget anything, but B, if somebody has apologized for certain actions and they said they're going to be better and they start making attempts to be better and they're making these things, and then later I see them doing the same thing they apologized about before, now I just feel like you're back to that. And now I got to bring up like, bro, you remember when you apologized and said you wouldn't do this anymore? Like, and now you're and then it's like, sure, I am bringing up an old thing, but it's like, I feel like your actions opened up that bag of ammo, some would say. All right. It wasn't me.
Nah, I would agree with some aspects of that. Even like when you're arguing about little things, the side comments also don't help out with communications with anybody, friends, family, even your coworkers. Like if we're having a conversation about work and you want to chime in with just nonsense that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but you just wanted to take a stab at somebody, that derails the whole conversation. Now the honest one-on-one that you're having now becomes the banter of fuck you back and forth. Who's smarter at dissing somebody respectfully? You know what I mean? And I think that also is a huge part of the communication failure. Like, you know what I mean?
Tony's not the person you want around when you're trying to have a hard conversation with somebody else. That's the truth. Because you do that.
I do that?
Oh my God.
I don't do none of that.
Let's
Maybe
say
the
Doey was
old
talking.
me.
Let's say, no way. The old me. Let's say Doey was talking to like Felix, Zeus, or me, or anybody. As that conversation's progressing, you'll be in the background like hitting hip hop ad libs. Every time somebody, oh, he said you got a big head. Like he's just adding to everything that's being said. And it's like everything now stings like 10 times more just by having this fucking ghoul in the background. Like just shitting on everybody.
Let's be correct here. Yeah, this is the absolute disrespect. Let's be clear here.
Funny.
It ain't
Somebody said
real.
that's one of the side comments that derails.
It ain't a real conversation. I'm not doing that with real conversations. If it's a stupid debate or banter back and forth that are jokey jokes, I'm gonna ad lib that shit like fucking Takeoff. You know, I'm gonna ad lib the shit out of that. But if it's a real like, like Pucho and Doughboy's seriously going at it about I'm not gonna add ad libs. When they're done talking, I'm gonna say my piece. I'm gonna be like, I think you're wrong and I think you're bugging. That's what I'll do. But if like jokey joke shits, 100% Pucho, I agree with you. I'm gonna do the ad lib talks all day, every day, because it's funny.
I think the issue is the conversations aren't serious until they're serious. So we've been talking about who do you think the best NBA player is of all time, and it'll end in people telling each other to suck their dicks, like, and it's like, how did we get here from there? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the jokey joke comments that you don't think are a big deal when you're just talking about who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan, are what led to two people like really insulting each other.
I don't think so. I think the secret attacks is what really gets somebody. Because let's say you and X person are going at it, and you be like, bro, I don't think you know enough about basketball. That right there is you're testing someone's knowledge now. And and I'm gonna say it, Zeus really prides himself on his knowledge of basketball. So the moment you tell Zeus, I don't think you don't know what you're talking about, that's it. Right there sets the first pullback of his thin skin when it comes to sports talk to open up a whole, I know more than you, this, that, and the third. So yeah, once you throw those little jabs, and then of course me coming in with the ad libs, that doesn't help.
Who's telling Zeus he doesn't know enough about basketball? I don't think I never heard anybody say that.
I'm just saying things that would get Zeus going. It's an example. I'm not saying you physically told him that, or
he said that to me, and I admit it. I'm not the most knowledgeable in sports,
and I think he hated that even more.
I seed my, like, when I'm having conversations, I'll look to like Breezy and Zeus because they know way more about basketball, especially Breezy. Breezy just looks like he got ESPN on all the time. Like he's just like injecting all the sports. He knows soccer, the tennis, the basketball, all the things. He's injecting right into his.
He needs the Apple Vision, dude. He could just have ESPN up on the little screen all day.
That's crazy. Yeah. But no, I think ad-libs definitely depending on how the conversation is going, you can read the room. Jokes do, but I don't know how many heated arguments I got with you, Pooch.
A lot.
And it'll just be one or two words. And it's probably usually on my end that I would set the tempo of pissing people off. But
I have a slick mouth. So I have a tendency to say things that I'm like, your skin should be thick enough, like whatever. And sometimes you got thin skin, Not you. Just people. Maybe the insult is worse than I thought. Things like that. Like I'll say a thing that I don't think is that serious. It turns out to be pretty serious, and I can't get a hold of the conversation. Even in the conversation, I'm saying, "Yo, my bad. I said that. That was wrong. Whatever." It's like you can't salvage it. It's fucked.
Yeah, once you said it, it's pretty fucked. And for the most part, I have thick skin.
I have a defensive issue. When I have something, I want to protect it. And I'm like, for some reason, I'm like that with anything that I'm talking about. But no, I just
like, how dare you insult Turok?
Yeah.
It's usually bicycles. You can't talk about bicycles to Dewey. He won't let you even talk. As soon as he hears you're about to start disagreeing with him, he'll just start talking over you. He won't accept any bike slander.
Or even music slander, too. Maybe Dewey's, he's really harped on music. But yeah, for the most part, like defensive attacks, all this stuff, when me and Doughboy get in arguments, that's almost nearly a lot. It's mostly because of how he approached the situation. Approaching someone in a conversation, knowing what ticks them off, is another huge a key to like not starting off. Like if you tell me, you always doing this shit, those starting off conversation points is already a wall up of attacks now. Now I'm on the defense. So learning how to approach certain people or conversations, I think you should treat every conversation with somebody maybe like a job, because you don't want to start a fight at your job.
I also think
but you say that and like somebody will come with the most lukewarm criticism and people will be so pissed. And it's like, I know that if this conversation was happening at your job, it wouldn't piss you off. You're mad at who's delivering the message. And so it's like, there's no nice way to say, like, you know, some of the conversations we have, like people not doing the things they need to be doing and things like that. Like that's a conversation where you just need to be like, hey, look, man, we said we were gonna do this stuff. We're not doing it. What can we do differently? Like, what's the approach here? And it's like that conversation will piss somebody off.
Yeah, it derails immediately. It's like, how dare you ask me about the TikToks when the Instagrams haven't even, like, it turns into this whole pride, like, fuck you kind of thing.
When Doey stops wearing beige hats to the podcast, then and only then will I start editing more videos throughout the week. And it's like, what?
It's like, we don't have topics yet. Yeah, but Doey's always talking into his mute mic. So what are we going to do about it?
That's how the conversations be feeling.
What are we going to do about that?
So, like, I feel like earlier this week, I don't remember what it was. Doey said something that pissed Tony off. And I was typing it, but the conversation, like, progressed. And I was like, whatever. But I was like, I wonder if somebody else, not Doey, said this, would it piss you off? And I feel like the answer is no, you wouldn't have got pissed off. And then I'm like, I was just like, man, that's interesting. Like, because I feel like the person who delivers a message matters. So this is why sometimes we'd be saying, yo, you call so-and-so. You call them. Like, you know, we don't want, like, because if they get a call from certain people, you know, it's just going to hit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
It's
when I
definitely the
type
approach.
anything and you have to hear it in my voice in your head, it's always like shitting on you or something. I feel like you read my messages in like a snarky way or something.
You do be eating a lot of Taco Bell, though. Like, you be shitting all over the place.
Perfect example. Today about the fucking
It's getting
the
too
damn
meta.
TikTok shit. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. It's like I read it and heard it through his voice, like he said right now. I
was
heard
gonna
his
say,
voice in my head, and I was aggravated. I don't know.
Do we read the messages in our One Up podcast chat in each other's voices? I hear y'all's voices when I read.
Yeah,
we
I do.
talk so often now because we talk once a week.
I do. I definitely do. I wonder if anybody else, like, if the viewers and listeners out there, if you guys deal with this too, comment. Because it's like when you're reading a message from somebody, I do it all the time. I don't, even if I don't talk to them every day, and if I remember their voice and how they sound like, I'm reading it how they would say it or the sound. So yeah, I think that's another indicator too of like
There's people that are more fleshed out. Y'all, like the mental image I have of y'all whenever I'm reading is more fleshed out than other people for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, communication is a key in every fucking thing.
I didn't even think about text till now, but some people don't like to use punctuation or grammar in their text messages. It makes it really hard to understand what people are saying.
What is
Like
your take on that, Tony?
earlier.
What's my take on it? I think people just
What
need
did
to
Tony say
fucking-
earlier? Tony said, I'm scrolling.
I like how this topic became like an
What did he say?
like behind the back door podcast talk conversation.
That priceless coming from you.
That's
Like,
priceless
reading it out
coming from-
loud, yeah. Like, you add the S, it makes perfect sense. But I was like, what is he saying? I couldn't, I swear to God, I could not understand what you were saying. But that's an example of me genuinely not understanding what you could be saying and y'all being like, you know what I'm saying. You're just being an asshole. Like,
You have
and
to
I'm
read
never,
the message.
I never
though.
do that.
That's
I
my.
never do
That's
that.
the problem. You don't read the message before. Doe telling
No,
somebody.
I read the message. I knew exactly what you were responding to.
Oh, so then
I
what's the
didn't
con-
understand what you were using the word. You're saying like that's priceless coming from you, right? I was reading priceless as a noun, like that thing coming from you, not an adjective. So I was like, what is he saying? I was like, is he trying to like shift the blame to somebody else? I was like, I honestly couldn't understand what you were saying.
And that's the
but really,
defensive-
you were saying you can't criticize me. That's really what you're saying, which is a whole different problem. But
Actually,
but
that's, that's pretty on. Yeah,
I
that's pretty
just
on
want to
point.
focus on the communication part. Like, typically, this conversation, you got a little hostile for no reason, but with me,
Me?
but
That's crazy.
You said, "What's the confusion?" And then you said, "Just read the messages."
Why are you
make
reading
sense.
it like that, though? See, that's how he knows he's listening to my sound in his head. Because this is how I said it. This is how I said it. What's the confusion? That's how I'm texting that sound-wise.
This is why we used to have the voice chat roll in our chats.
Yeah, when debates go on, you have to use voice chat so we can understand tones because it's just
The problem with the voice chat is you can't search it, though.
Yeah, I don't like the voice chat.
That's weird. They need
that
to
and you guys talk way too slow. Something about voice chat, like when we're having a conversation is fine, but when you're on voice chat, every voice chat starts like this. Yeah. So what I was saying, and there's so much dead air, and I'm like, I cannot listen to this. And like I've been trying to like skip through it, but you can't really skip through voice. It's bad. I'm like, I want to like play it on 2x speed or something.
I think they just changed it. I think you can play it in 2x speed now.
Oh wow, that's nice.
What Zeus?
Zeus will hit you with a random ticket. With that being said,
shout out to Zeus. Yeah, with that being said, let's do a shout out.
With that being said, yeah.
Zeus loves saying "with that being said," and I like to just say that it isn't good to say, mostly because he loves it so much. It's just a stupid conversation we have a lot, but
yeah. Well, ladies, with that being said, if you stuck with us through this whole entire episode, hit the share, subscribe button, drop a comment, let us know what you think, if you like it, if not. Even tell us what parts of communication failure happened with your friends, your family, coworkers, or even if you have a podcast, drop it in and let us know. Like, hey, you're not the only group of people who do pod with 4 people or co-hosts that have problems on the side. Because I guarantee you, every podcast out there that has 2 or more has to have problems. It's just normal. It's an everyday thing. So, but as always, people, go one up yourself. Peace.